Hi, I'm Hayden Von Summer, also known as Young Black and Gifted, full legal name raped, but not that mad about it. And I have something to share with you all today. It's that I am the most enslaved, profaned, beaten down, and oppressed boy who has ever lived. There have been many groups in history that have been oppressed. Christians in Nigeria, really anyone in Nigeria, the Jews, because they have to deal with campus anti-Semitism. Epstein didn't kill himself. Campus anti-Semitism did. And then, of course, rank number one is fanboys. When I was a child, I was bound and exculpated at the hands of the evil Doc Crazy for my dangerously room temperature IQ. They subjected me to rigorous clinical trials, wherein I had to flip a bottle and then land it. A feat a lot mightier in execution than it might sound in conception. They also had me visit a pony, and the pony was huge and big, and it had garish hooves and was very scary, and I did not like it very much. But it kicked my fat stepsister, and she deserved that. For being fat and evil.
I'm Hayden's boyfriend, and horse porn is top 3 ethical faps. Can I get 3 big booms for horse porn?
I believe now they were trying to test my advanced psychical abilities to discern some sort of hidden genome sequence. Something that I would call the gifted kid gene, and something they would probably call low functional autism. I recently came across a community of adults who share similar experiences with me. They too remember being tested as children. They believe it was a ploy to trade our most above average intellect children into the hands of sex traffickers and the whatever the name is of the appendage that aliens would have instead of hands. They're slimy probosci, or depending on the planet, they're leku. When I was a child, it was my dream to be a sexy alien prostitute. And some dreams do come true. I can report that neither happened to me. If aliens were to experiment on me, they would discover more about dogs than they would humans. And I was so ugly a child that I would have had to have paid the sex traffickers to come traffic on me. All of this is to say that I have a song that I want to share with the world, a song of Hayden. And if only I was still allowed on campuses, this is what I would be saying with them. These are 5 numbered of my theories. 1, I invented a system that measures the attributes of your will, what you are naturally inclined towards, your will to power, all of these strengths. And it places you on a spectrum from goy cattle to ascended genius. And to match with this invention, I've also invented a trap door that opens up underneath your feet if you rank anywhere even close to the free-thinking genius side. There's a term in philosophy that demarcates the differences between pleasures. Pleasures that are highly rewarding, that you have to work towards, things like intellectual pursuits, and then more base pleasures, pleasures that are easy to come across, that are fulfilling in the moment, and that don't ever build up to anything. These are called higher and lower order pleasures. This system was established by a man named Jeremy Bentham, and many philosophers believe that it is the will of an intellectual mind to fight towards higher order pleasures instead of lower order pleasures. And obviously, as we can tell, this is an insane cope that philosophers use to try and differentiate what they do from the common subaltern scum. But we all engage in lower order pleasures. The whole world is fulfilled with low order pleasure. In fact, I would argue there isn't a thing as a high order pleasure. Jeremy Bentham himself loved low order pleasures, like philosophy, and bending himself over like an armadillo so that he could suck on his own penis. I'm actually the first person in the world to get rib surgery to add more ribs on, because I couldn't stop sucking my own penis. Nietzsche would agree with me. He didn't like philosophers very much. The only thing he seemed to care for was the will to power. Also the feeling of his own wet, squishy diaper, because he was pissing himself in whatever barracks he was being passed around in that war. Nietzsche believed that the base principle that promulgated all life was a will towards projecting power outwards. That there are many things that exist in nature, our will to survive, for instance, that are all just downstream of our will towards projecting the power that we do have over the people who are there to recognize that power. He would obviously understand Bentham as being a cucked loser, because I think he thought that about most philosophers. He was very subversive. So on the one hand, he would say high order pleasures, they're not real, they're a cope invented by gay faggots. But then on the second hand, he would probably say everyone is addicted to their low order pleasures because they're Jews. His words, not mine. I would never say the J word. That was put there as legal protection so that Keir Starmer's Reich can't break down my door and send me off to a female prison. Under Starmer, you have to teach your dog to do whatever the opposite of a Hitler salute is. Of course, the main problem with people giving up their idea of projecting power is that they're just, subsumed into the world that's greater than them. They're underneath the command of whoever it is establishes the order of the world. But us laymen also have wills to power. Nietzsche would agree that I express my will to power by opening up my Uber Eats app. Also, we don't have to listen to Nietzsche. He died of medieval AIDS. Invention number 2. I've invented a device that can differentiate true transgender from fake transgender, and I sent one to Blair White, but then she returned it to me for some reason. My device has a built-in hormone monitoring thing, which I think is great for places like Screamo shows, Twitter, anywhere that will try to kill you if you do actually try to transition, not just talk about it online. This is my axes, and then this is my drawing of myself if I was a girl. And this is how you understand the different transgender groups. You've got power via self at the top, normative to the right, down the bottom, power via diminution, and then queer. It's like if the political compass was less homosexual. And then we've got specific categories of transgender in some quadrants, the normative power via self. We've got Caitlyn Jenner, transgender, transvestite, AGP, autistic, transgender, but this can also go down the way. I just think that it's important that we begin to characterize people based on phenotypical attributes so that when we all get sent to the death camps together, I get to be with Caitlyn Jenner, and all the people that I don't like get to be with the ketamine mommy transgenders. I can only assume a prototypical version of my device was used in the movie The Silence of the Lamb. Otherwise, that would make the kind doctor here Diddy Media's problematic contents. Number 3, my hardest invention yet. I invented 2 magnets that are so strong they can actually tear away 2 gay men from trying to have public sex with one another in a park. They said it couldn't be done, but they didn't know that there is one thing that motivates gay men more than having anal sex with random strangers in public, and that is an unmolested child, 2 of them at each end. Incidentally, I'm one of the only gay people actually born into this. I had to MK Ultra myself into homosexuality because of the whole, being an ugly child thing that I mentioned earlier. Number 4, my hardest invention yet. I've been trying to work on a liberal theory as to why anything happens in this world at all, but it's just not coming to me. But I have thought of good names for it. It's called the shrug method, or the pores are all evil and should die solution.
My name is Slazak, and I endorse this message.
If you're in line to vote for Slazak, don't leave. Here's how he can still win. The neoliberal global order has never been in more French hands. I just hope that when my liberal policy is established, we can do what we did in the 90s, which was get Hillary Clinton up there, doing the Macarena once again. And number 5, my final invention is a mirror that actually reflects back what you look like. As of late, when I've been looking in a mirror, I can feel myself being besieged by body dysmorphia. Like when I look at pictures of myself and when I see myself in my head, I know that I look like a nubile Shota Khan. Sometimes I can hardly recognize myself in pictures, even ones I've taken just last week, like this one. Thank you for watching. Those are all my theories. And thank you to all of my Patreon supporters who make more videos like this possible. The Nation of Israel. The reparations I still get from the Michael Jackson estate. Whoever the true killer of Nicole Simpson was. And my good friends over at the Drone Victims who Forgive Obama Foundation. Thank you. Should old acquaintance be forgot?